Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Carlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Pulls on social media.
Hi everyone, on today's episode, Jen explains newborns.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
I hope everyone's having a good Taurus season. I'm so sad that we're done with the signs.
I know, that was our last episode. I hope people enjoyed it. I hope people listened in. You know, my favorite part about that, I mean, I like Tauruses, but I like that we had the brilliant idea of like ranking our top signs at the end. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know what y'all's favorite signs are, because now I'm just curious what it is.
Yeah.
I think I actually asked somebody. It might have been you, honestly. We were just talking about it. But, no, I was talking to somebody and I kind of told them that we did like the ranks. And I was like, oh, who's your favorite sign? And it just opened up a conversation. But it was really cool just wrapping that up. A whole year of doing that.
Yeah.
But as we were, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I said, as we were kind of organizing ourselves and looking through some comments, we actually found a comment for our cryptid episode that was from a few episodes ago now, which is, I know, that was a fun one too.
Yeah, that was super fun.
I enjoyed that. We definitely, I think, need to do a part 2.
Absolutely.
But I think what we need to do is like a listener story. Maybe we'll combine like a cryptids and an aliens one and have just people tell us their story. That'd be super cool.
Heck yeah, that would be great. But yeah, we got a comment from Jose. He said, I knew this girl and I could have sworn she was a real chupacabra. Cabron.
That's so funny. That's actually a perfect segment because Jose is about to have a kid. So congratulations to him.
Yes.
I know his partner's like what? 9 months pregnant? 8 months pregnant?
8
months. Yeah. That's going to be interesting because we're going on a camping trip with him a little before the due date. So fingers crossed.
Yes.
But anyways, that's a great segue into our episode for this week. We're talking about newborns. We're talking about babies, infantiles, newborns, and you might be asking yourself, well, what does that have to do with like the metaphysical, or what does that have to do with like, you know, superstition? Well, Jen's gonna tell us.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea.
There are so many superstitions around newborns, babies, etc. At first, I thought it was funny. I was like, Jen explains newborns. I'm like, what am I supposed to say? When an outie and an innie love each other very much. Severance reference, but
I know.
Yeah, technically a newborn is within the first 28 days of life. That's like the definition.
Is that the like scientific definition? Okay.
Yeah.
That's when they have a soft spot.
Ew. They have the soft spot for a little bit longer than that. But I think it's really interesting that the definition is 28 days and not like a month. Yeah. It's really specific, but also lunar cycles are 28 days. So
okay,
I don't know. Very interesting.
We're not parents, obviously, but it's weird, like chronologically, how parents keep age for the first. Was it like 2 years? I've heard people say like, "Oh, how old's your baby?" They're like 18 months, or like, I think 18 months is the highest I've heard.
Oh, I've heard like 36.
36? That kid's paying taxes by that point. That kid has a beard. 36 months is over 2 years.
That's 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
I don't know.
You've actually heard somebody say,
yes.
How old's your kid? 36 months?
Yes. I don't know. I don't understand it, but what I have seen are some interesting like superstitions or traditions around children because people just really want to protect them. So people do these superstitions and traditions thinking that they're protecting their baby spiritually, which like, you know, gotta respect that because they are these fragile little beings and you want to do everything to protect them, and that includes like spiritual protection.
Absolutely.
As I was doing my research, like I've seen some of these things, I've heard of some of these things. I wanted to highlight like specific countries, but just like everything else with globalization, like so many cultures merge, borders aren't real. So, you know, for example, like the border between Southern California and Mexico, you know, you would think that like they're two different species of people, but no, like it's just an imaginary line. So, things transcend countries and borders. So a lot of these things are in multiple countries. I'll name a few, but if you're like, oh, my country does that too, like I didn't leave you out on purpose. There's just so many to count.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go into it. I'm going to have a few questions, but I'll wait till you do some explanations and I'll follow up to there.
Yeah, so these are like some interesting superstitions and traditions that I've seen recently because we had an eclipse cycle. I've seen that moms, and specifically like some of our pregnant friends, they wear a red string around their belly. And, we've seen a lot of like Mexican or Latino Americans do this, but some other cultures may do this out as well. Someone that I knew who was pregnant actually wore the red string on her like 24/7 to protect the baby from like evil eye, negative energies, and
just
then
bad vibes.
Bad vibes in general. But other people only wear it during eclipses.
That's what I've known a little bit more. I don't really know anything about the tradition. And I've obviously never been around a lot of like pregnant women, but I do remember as a kid kind of seeing that somewhere in my peripheral of like, oh, eclipse season is coming up, so you better put like a string on. And I never understood it. I think when I was younger, I didn't understand if it was like an actual medical thing, because I think people who are very passionate about this and truly believe about it, they talk about it like it is a medical thing. Like, if you're going to go experience an eclipse, wear those glasses that block you from the sun rays. And they talk about it like that. So when I first heard about it, I thought like the eclipse gives off some weird maybe radiation, or like it's not good to expose yourself because it could like mess up the kid in a physical way. I never understood that it was a spiritual thing. But I'm curious about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people believe that, like, it could be a spiritual thing, but that spiritual thing then turns into a physical thing, such as, like, deformities, miscarriage, etc.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, tell me about it, because I've known the tradition, but I don't know what it's about.
I mean, so many cultures throughout history, like, believe that eclipses are bad. Like, that's why you don't manifest. Back in, like, medieval times, like, people thought that, like it was bad to be out there and that you could get sick. Indigenous communities also believe that like eclipses are not great, so a lot of them just like stay at home. I recently made a mutual /friend that is Diné or Navajo, and yeah, during the eclipse she's like, nope, vampire mode, just block all the windows and just stay inside. You don't have any business going outside. So
I think that makes sense though, because up until very recently in our human history, we've started to understand the cosmos and understand these natural phenomena. But I can only imagine if you're living out, in your, tribe or your small agrarian community, back in the early days of civilization, you're just out and about, and all of a sudden the sky turns dark out of nowhere. That would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even have the language to describe what was going on. I think we take it more for granted because we understand what an eclipse is. We understand like it's really nothing to be scared of. But imagine you don't know this, and all of a sudden you walk out into your day, or honestly, they were probably like farming at that time. They were doing their chores, and then the sun went out. They're like, what the hell?
Or if it was at night, the moon turned red.
Or the moon turned red, yeah.
Yeah, like bright red. And it's like, what the hell?
What just happened?
Freaky. Yeah,
absolutely. So, nothing again, like, it makes sense, right? You only know what you can only understand what, based on the information that you know. And if the information at the time is like, it's a demon, it's a god, it's something, then that's what you're going to believe, right?
Mm-hmm. And also, this is like pretty harmless, so it's like, it makes people feel better. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely. But it's interesting how the traditions like carry down, because I think it obviously started with something of that nature, that like it's just such an intense natural phenomenon that there is no answers at the time, so you make up the answers, but that carries over into today's modern day where people still hold those beliefs, right? Okay, so the string itself, well, I guess we could talk a little bit about color magic, referring back to our early episodes. What does red represent?
Well, color magic is very culturally specific, and like you know, your culture can dictate like this color is this color is that. So definitions may be different across cultures, but traditionally, red is associated with like love, power, passion. But red at least in like Mexican culture, I've seen is also like a ward of protection.
Okay.
So speaking of red string, so once the baby is born, they sometimes will wear a red string on their right wrist.
I've seen
and it
that.
may or may not have the evil eye or deer eye on it to also ward off negative energies. So
Okay.
yeah, babies also have the red string around their wrist.
The little Mexican babies wearing the gold oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the word for the gold bracelet with their nameplate on it? Is that also that's just tradition, or
That's just tradition. I don't think that protects or anything, but I had one of those. I actually remember when it busted off my wrist. I was like, oh man.
That's just the aesthetic, right?
Yeah, it's just aesthetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of babies with the red string around their wrist. And speaking of red string, this is maybe a lesser known one, but it kind of affected me personally in a way. But apparently you're supposed to measure a baby's foot with a red string as well to stop it from growing like at a reasonable place. My parents never did that because they were skeptics of that tradition, and I have size 11 feet.
Okay,
And
wait. Hold on. When you measure the baby's foot?
just any time before they like start their big growth spurt, but like you could do it as a baby.
Okay. Oh, and just so they have the correct foot size?
So that their feet don't grow too big. So
What the
basically
fuck?
take a red string and put it to their foot and be like, you're gonna have normal size feet. And you're not gonna have clown feet like Jen over here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So when I
The
was
picky heel feet?
Yes. So when I was little, like, yeah, I think by 4th grade I was wearing like women's size 9, and that's already past the normal. Like average size foot is between a 6 and an 8. And all the freaking ladies would be like, you didn't measure her foot with a string, did you?
They would talk shit.
They would talk shit to my parents.
Señoras would come in hot.
Yeah, they'd be like, you brought this upon yourself. That's why, like, you can't find shoes for her because you didn't do that. So now you're paying for it.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
obviously you and I are a match made in heaven because I have really wide feet and I have really big feet. I'm a size 13, but I have to be like 13 wide. And it's so hard for us to find shoes.
Did your mom measure your foot?
I don't fucking know. I don't think so. I don't think she measures my foot. I gotta ask her. Maybe she listens to all our episodes, so
Santa, let us know.
let us know if you measured this fucking behemoth of a foot. I know, it's crazy. And then not only that, but it sucks because bigger shoes are ugly. Like by that point, you're entering into fucking orthopedic size shoes, or now they're really cool. But back in the day, the only shoes that fit were New Balance shoes, and those were like dad shoes.
Yup.
But now they're hella cool. So I don't know. It's been a journey for both of us. So even though I don't believe in superstition, I don't believe in the metaphysical. That might be one thing you and I do, just because we both know the struggle of having
Yes.
like irregularly large feet.
Yes.
And we don't want our baby to go through that if we decide or have a child.
Seriously. It's like,
Yeah.
please have a normal foot.
I like that though. I wonder. I don't see it in our notes, but do you know where that came from, or is that just some silly tradition?
That one I didn't research. I just remembered it right now because we were talking about the red string. I was like, oh, this is the one that affected me personally.
Yeah.
I would hear it all the time growing up. They'd be like, no hiciste caso, you brought this upon yourself. Yeah.
Dude, the señoras or the old Mexican
Straight up
ladies
roasting my
love
parents.
to talk shit, don't they?
Yeah, they were straight up roasting my parents. But anyway.
Have you seen that meme that it's like, you don't have to get a security camera, just get like an abuela from like to hang out in the window and she'll report on everything.
Literally, yeah.
Okay, so babies with the string.
Yes.
I know we talked about and we just kind of mentioned that, but we talked about this during a previous episode. I think it was during the Ojo one, actually. Would you allow someone to give our kid like a red string, or would you do it yourself, do you think?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably like, cleanse it or like energize it myself. But yeah, I'm sure I would get it, but if someone beat me to it, then yeah, I would accept it. I would just like have
Clean
to
it.
do my own thing to it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody would be Trojan horsing our baby. I don't think we have haters like that.
That's crazy. Not the Trojan horse.
Yeah. Okay.
And then this one I saw mentioned a lot in Greece, but again, other countries may believe this. Something interesting that I saw, babies can't look into the mirror until they're baptized to prevent their soul from being taken.
Okay, so the thing about mirrors is very, very interesting. So, and again, I swear I've talked about this on this podcast. I don't know if it was an Unhinged though, but primitive mirrors, all it was like, I think one time it was like polished rock. Then we went to like polished steel. The addition of like, so modern mirrors, what they are, they're glass, and then there's a like a filming of mercury on them, or silver nitrate, to have that like intense reflection. Mirrors have been around for a while, but they're not like super duper old. And I think it also opened a lot of like ideas and beliefs and myths, because like I said before, then it was just like polished metal, so it wasn't as we weren't in 4K basically. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories, or a lot of like supernatural beliefs with mirrors, that they're portals, that they are gateways into like other universes. Like people who really believe in like the mirror magic stuff, I can see why it can have a hold on you. And I think before then, we really didn't have an understanding of what we looked like, So that's part of it. But continue. Sorry, I just had to go on that little tangent.
Yeah, so very interesting that, they felt like their soul could be taken, or like a step further than that they could like die. So they needed to be baptized.
Well, even the vampires, right? Like they can't, like supposedly a vampire can't see themselves in a mirror because they don't have a soul. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw, when I was researching this, I saw a lot of comments like, are babies vampires? What's going on? Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. And there's a lot of different types of like, not until they're baptized or this other ritual.
The milestones.
Yeah, the milestones to keep the baby safe.
Okay.
But I feel like this specifically pertains to Catholics, because I think Christians don't baptize until you're older and you choose to like accept God. Like you have to go through these things, versus Catholics.
But it has to be like a conscious decision.
Yeah. Versus Catholics will baptize their babies at birth just in case like something happens. And I think, if I remember my research correctly, a long time ago when I was looking into this, they started doing that during like the Black Plague and like all of these different plagues, because like babies would die, and it was like, oh no, they didn't get baptized. So they started baptizing like pretty close to birth, because unfortunately like child deaths do happen.
Yeah, it's really interesting what traditions are held by different cultures for their babies. Do Christians do anything for their babies? They do a christening, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what that entails, because I grew up Catholic.
But christening is different than a baptism?
That I don't know.
No?
Yeah.
And then there's the Jewish faith, and they do the circumcision. But what's the name of that?
I don't remember.
Bris. Yeah, it's a bris. Yeah. Okay.
I just know it happens on the it has to happen on the 8th day if possible.
Oh, the brisk? Mm-hmm. Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, I was researching that, but I was like, that's not a superstition. That's more tradition.
It's more tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And for them, I think just like Catholics, it's like, when you get baptized, you're accepting basically the Lord into your life. And for Jewish people, it's a covenant between them and God. I think, was it Abraham that came to them and said like, gotta snip it off.
Oh, and also during the brisk, or whatever the equivalent is for the girls, that's also when you get your name.
That's right.
They don't get their name like at birth. They get their name during the ceremony. Yeah.
I wonder how deep it goes into like, if maybe Jewish people don't sign a birth certificate until that happens. I mean, it's only 8 days. So
I was actually researching that, because I was like, that's very interesting. And somewhere in the Torah, I'm not a Jewish scholar.
Yeah.
But I was seeing that like Yeah, unless the baby made it to like that ceremony, basically like not to mourn or acknowledge the child.
Really?
It says like don't mourn or acknowledge like that child as a child, which is very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. It'd be really interesting to know. I've always been interested in like attending a synagogue. I've never been invited. I've never been to a bar mitzvah or a mat mitzvah. But it looks so fun. But just like our quinceañeras, right? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be really interesting
Yeah.
to go into traditions. And then I feel very ignorant not knowing this, and I probably should because I try to study as much as I can. But I don't know any traditions in like the Muslim religion of like for newborns. Do you?
I don't, but Egypt, does have a large Muslim community. They have something called El Sobo, which on the 7th day, people sing loudly and bang on pots and pans because they believe that by the 7th day, the baby starts to get more of a conscious awareness around them and start to be able to like recognize people and voices. So to give them stronger hearing, they have to like exercise that muscle while it's fresh. So they'll sing loudly to the baby and they'll basically just make as much noise as possible so that the baby develops super strong hearing.
Interesting. That doesn't sound like the healthiest.
I was thinking.
But then I don't know. A lot of traditions.
Hearing loss.
Yeah, hearing loss. Okay. Yeah. That's super interesting.
One that is like the opposite of this that I remember one of my Jewish coworkers told me, and now I can't remember the name and I can't find it online, was that Jewish children, like newborns, had to be in a period of silence like 7 or 10 or 30 days. I was literally trying to Google this everywhere and I could not find it.
Like you can't talk to them?
Yeah, they have to be in like silence. Not that you can't talk to them, but you have to like be as quiet as possible. Maybe I'm getting this confused with something else.
I think I have heard something like that.
I was trying really hard during my research and I could not find it. But I remember specifically my Jewish coworker told me this. So I was like, I don't know.
Maybe you were being loud, and there was their way of telling you.
Shut the fuck up.
That's the way of telling you, like, hey, Loki, just.
You know what's funny? They were fucking loud.
Oh, they were. Yeah.
So anyway.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else? I love this topic. I did not know what to expect. I only had like one thought on it, and I don't see it in our notes, but I'll kind of talk into it. But it's so interesting about all these traditions. So, I'm going to intersect here a little bit. On an anthropological and biological and evolutionary standpoint, I don't think these traditions are silly. I would never say they're silly, but I think somebody could say like they're arbitrary. But you have to think about it also from the perspective of like resources, right? Everything. Bringing a child into this world, as you and I know, is not easy, and it takes a lot of resources. When somebody's pregnant, they're an incubation pod for 9 months. That child, the unborn child, is leaching resources, leaching health. I mean, there's like preeclampsia, there's diabetes, there's high blood pressure. Like the body itself is actually recognizing it more as a parasite than an actual living body, and the mother endures all that, right? And then once the baby is born, they're super fragile. Human babies are one of the most fragile beings in the animal kingdom, and they require a lot of resources.
I'm laughing because they're a little undercooked still.
They're still a little undercooked. They're a little raw. They're a little pink. But societally, we've said 18 years. You know, I think people were ready to go way before 18 as far as like entering the labor force, being part of like your community. And that's why a lot of these religions and traditions like quinceañeras, bar mitzvahs. I mean, bar mitzvahs are 13, quinceañeras are 15, sweet 16s are 16s. That's where your community starts to recognize you as a person.
Side note, do you know where sweet 16s come from?
Oh God, does it have a dark history?
Kind of.
Okay.
White people were jealous of quinceañeras. That's literally
really?
where it fucking came from.
I did not know that.
The white girls were like, I want one of those. And it's like, all right, we're not going to call it 15 because that's copying. We're going to do 16 because that's when you can get your driver's license.
Oh, God. Did you ever watch that show, My Sweet 16?
Yes.
All the brats? I love it.
There was also Quiero mi quince.
Quiero mi
which is the
quince,
same
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
But anyways, all that to go back to, this is a large investment financially, everything. So all these things that we do as tradition to protect our offspring, to protect our newborn, if you think about it from a biological standpoint, it is important to do everything you can to keep this baby alive and thriving, because you've invested a lot into it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this next one, we've talked about it similarly during the Evil Eye episode, but some countries or cultures that I saw that do this are Laos, Serbians, and Thai people, but no compliments for the baby.
I don't know what you put Latinos, so you just said Laos.
Did I say Laos? Sorry.
Is it Latinos or Laos? I know we look the same, but...
I thought I said Latinos, my bad. Okay, Latinos, Serbians, and Thai people. My bad. Okay. Anyway,
Damn.
I feel gaslit. I feel like I said
swear, we have it on camera.
I know. We're going to have to rewind this. Anyway.
Okay, so just to be clear, Latinos, Serbians, and Thais
is what I found, and I'm sure there's even more cultures that believe this. But
damn, now I feel bad for our Laos listeners if we have any. They're gonna be like, "What about us?"
Well, Laos and Thailand are very, very close together. But anyway, no compliments for the baby, because you could give them evil eye that way, because you could be jealous of them, or you could just be trying to give a backhanded compliment, which has negative energy. So you're not supposed to say, "Oh, what a cute baby." Some people just don't comment on the baby's appearance, which honestly, mood, you should never comment on somebody's appearance.
Who the fuck is beefing with a baby though?
You would be surprised. A lot of people.
Okay, the only time, I'm not justifying it, but the only time I can think of I don't fuck with that baby would be in royalty, right? Because that should be another topic on its own. But the bloodlines are so defined. There's major implications to a newborn within the royal. Let's take the royal family. Obviously, there's a lot of different monarchies around the world, but let's take the royal family because I think it's the closest one, right? So anytime a baby is born and they maybe have eligibility for the crown, that is a big deal. Right? Mm-hmm. I always think that poor baby has nothing to do with anything, and they're just
born with a job.
They're born with a job essentially, and then back in Pharaoh days and all that kind of ancient times, I mean, there were people who took the crown, kings or queens, and they were teenagers or preteens, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember which one, but there was a king that was 10 years old and was yeah. Okay. Anyway, so. Don't compliment the babies.
Yeah, so some people...
And don't beef with babies.
Yes.
Okay.
So some people just don't even say something, or they might do the opposite and be like, oh my god, what an ugly baby. But you know what they mean, because you're not trying to give them evil eye.
That's fucked up.
No, but you know who does this? My grandma.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, remember when she called me ugly? It's sort of a similar thing, and you're like, no, señora, why are you calling her ugly?
I don't remember that. Refresh my memory.
You got really offended when my grandma called me ugly, basically, and you were like, no. But I know that she does the opposite thing. I don't know if it's because of ojo, but it's very that coded.
God, it's rooted in
She's calling you pretty, but she's calling you ugly to be funny as a joke when she means the opposite. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm surprised you don't remember because you got very offended.
That's probably why.
And you stood up for my honor.
So what the fuck? That's my wife.
Yeah.
Were we married? We probably were.
Yeah, probably. I think we've been married longer than not. So yeah. But
you're not ugly. You're very pretty.
Thank you.
Okay.
But in some cultures, specifically Middle Eastern culture, if you say oh my god, I love that necklace, then they'll give it to you, because at that point they don't even want it because you put your evil eye on it.
See, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I thought it's just because they're gracious hosts.
No, if you say like, and that's why you're not supposed to like give compliments like that, because then they're basically gonna be forced to give it up. It's like, well, you already ruined it. I can't keep it, so I might as well give it to
But
you.
they take it to like, I mean, I've seen like YouTube videos of like, hey, I like your watch, and it's like a Rolex. And
Yeah.
like, oh fuck it, now you got to take it.
Well, yeah, I mean, your spiritual like wellness, you can't put a dollar price on that.
I didn't know that's where
Yeah.
that came from.
That's why people like to troll when they go to the Middle East and they're like, "Oh, I like your Bugatti," you know, hoping that they
they'll give
just
it to
do
them.
that.
Yeah.
I would just personally just like cleanse that shit, but you know.
See, I thought it was because they were gracious hosts, which I think they still are. There's a lot of hospitality, right? Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, don't compliment the baby.
How horrible would you feel if, like, somebody's like, "Oh, I like your ugly baby"? What the fuck?
I'd be like, "Are you doing that evil eye thing? Did you listen to this podcast? Otherwise, I'm gonna punch your lights out."
Anyways,
This one is not so much superstitious as much as it is like ritualistic. But have you seen like the TikToks or the viral moments of like babies touching soil? Like, you know, the first soil that they touch is gonna be like Texas, Irish, and Puerto Ricans. I've seen do this a lot on TikTok.
that is a gamut.
It is. But yeah, very proud people that have like very strong roots to their heritage. And when a baby is born, yeah, they'll get like a little thing of soil and they'll put the baby's foot on it so that they have like strong associations with their culture.
I don't want to put my baby's feet anywhere in Merced. So.
Yeah, you should look it up. I think it's kind of cute.
I mean, it's cute, yeah. It's a slippery slope, though, because, I mean, Irish is a very established place and tradition. Puerto Rico has a lot of culture. It's Texas. Like,
Oh my God, the Texans are gonna come for
I
you.
know, they are.
They are their own thing.
No, I love Texas. One of my best friends is originally from Texas, but no, they take their pride and their... It's not heritage, though. They just take their pride from where they're from very seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
There's this interesting one in Spain called Salto del Colacho, which is where they have these babies at the town square and they have them like, you know, laying on their little blanket or whatever. And then there is this red devil in a yellow suit.
Jesus.
And they merged probably some pagan shit with some Catholic shit. And there's this devil and, you know, everyone gets there. It's multiple babies. And the devil is taunting the people like that are gathered to watch, like the onlookers. And then drummers come and basically they're like warding away the devil. And basically the drummers are like, get out of here as they're drumming. And then the devil will run and jump over the babies.
Ooh.
And with jumping over the babies, it said that the devil is taking away like the original sin and like running out of town. So the babies are pure and without original sin anymore.
Did you look this up by any chance? Did you see the videos?
There are a lot of videos on it.
I need to watch it because
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, whoa.
That's intense.
I would not trust a stranger in a devil suit jumping over my child. What if they misstep? What if they like, ooh. But, you know, I'm sure they get an athletic professional that has jumped over many babies.
Okay. If you've jumped over a baby, let us know. We'd love to interview you.
Yes.
All right. What else we got?
Finally, one of the more interesting ones that I saw, which I think is rooted a little more in like science in terms of like why they do this, but in Hawaii, you don't give a pregnant woman a traditional like closed lay. You give them an open lay. So it's like a scarf or like a boa. So you have the open lay so the umbilical cord doesn't strangle the baby.
Oh.
Yeah, if you give a woman a closed lay, then her umbilical cord could tie like a noose and strangle the baby.
Hawaii has very cool traditions, iconography, symbology. I don't know much about the lays, and it'd be really interesting to find out. But I think even with like women who are single or taken wherever they put like the flower, like that represents a certain meaning or convey something. That would make sense though. I think that one is like, you know, you want to make sure that the baby's okay. So,
and like you hear about that often with the umbilical cord. It's such a danger.
It's super common.
Yeah, but like the fact that they see like the imagery between like a woman and like the baby and like the scientific process, like I don't know, to me I thought it was super beautiful and interesting, and to me it makes sense. If we wore lace, I would definitely want an open lace, you know?
Absolutely.
One
thing that I maybe you'll just know it or we can just talk about it, but when we came up with this topic, one thing that I thought we were maybe going to discuss was the idea that babies or newborns, the veil between a baby and, like, let's say the spiritual world, the other world, the supernatural is a lot thinner, right? Mm-hmm. There's a strong belief that babies are more in tune with those types of phenomena. What can you tell me about that, or what do you know about that?
Well, some people like who believe that babies come from like another dimension and then they like come to the physical world. It's like they were just there compared to adults, you know? And the more time you're alive, the further you are from being at the other place, whatever you believe the other place or the other dimension to be. And they're just like without bias, and they're just observant and open. You know, as an adult, you become skeptical, you become jaded, you become set in your beliefs, versus kids, they're like sponges. And so they just absorb, and that includes absorbing energy. So.
Yeah, so what are some of the beliefs are like that they can see spirits, they can see ghosts, they can...
and that's part of the reason why you have to protect them spiritually, right? If you do believe they are like this susceptible to all of these paranormal experiences.
See, I always thought it was like interesting because to me what the thought process was like, well, that's when they're most in tune and that's when they have the most connection, but that's when they can least communicate. So like that's the way of like the spirits protecting themselves. Like, we'll present ourselves to the population that can't tell you about us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like they're always there. It's just we choose not to listen. But
listen, if you're hearing voices, you better let me know now before we hit the 10-year mark.
I know, right?
That'll null and void the contract for sure.
But speaking of babies, I love to do birth chart readings on babies.
Yeah.
And when you do birth chart readings on like younger children, babies, etc., like you just look at things differently. You don't start going into like career necessarily. I mean, I guess you could get an idea, but me personally, when I do these readings for children, I try not to make assumptions about...
This might sound fucked up. It probably is. But do you approach reading babies like you approach reading animals? Because, you know, you told me when you read pets, like, it's not that serious or deep.
With children, it is serious and deep, but I try not to be like, oh, they're going to be like this badass business person and they're going to need to watch out for like unfaithful partners. Like, you know, I try to look at it between like the next 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, the third house is about travel, communication, siblings, etc. So I'm not going to be like, they better watch out, they're a shitty driver because they have this in their third house. Like, no, that's not relevant to them yet. So I talk about all of the things that could happen within the next 5 years. Like, oh, they have Venus in their third house. So, you know, if they have siblings, they're going to love them very much and be very attached to their siblings and be very family oriented, you know, things like that. Or, oh, if they have Mars in their, let's say in their first house, like this baby is going to be very like temperamental and spicy, like, and also very active. So they might learn to like walk faster, like, I don't know, just stuff like that.
That type of things.
Instead of like as an adult where it's like they're going to be very like stubborn and want to do what they want to do and driven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to keep it more relevant to like childhood experiences.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
So some people choose to get a birth chart reading done of their child, you know, earlier rather than later, or like periodically. Some people don't. But yeah, to a lot of people, having the birth time is very important. Yeah. I will definitely be one of those people yelling, "Time! What time is it? Get the minute right now!"
I'll just look at the nurse and be like, "I'm so sorry. I apologize for my wife."
So I guess you could call that another tradition or superstition. Yeah. But the reason we're mentioning this is because that is one of the services that I offer, and we wanted to do a giveaway.
Yeah.
So,
well, before we get into that, I still have a little bit more.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wanted to go over two things, one more fun and then one more abstract. So as we were getting ready for this episode, one thing that I think was that you mentioned, that's kind of serendipitous because you told me about this and then we were coming up with ideas for this episode. But tell me a little bit, or share with our audience a little bit about the concept of like a newborn thing. So somebody asked you if you could do like a reading for their new business, and you're like, well, I'll approach it like a newborn. So can you elaborate on that? I thought that was very interesting.
Not necessarily that I'm going to approach it like a newborn, but I was explaining that everything has a birth chart because...
Yes, that's what you were saying.
Everything is born. Like, everything has like a birth or a conception. So I also do birth charts or natal charts for a business.
Yeah.
So I just did one for somebody, and they're very interesting because they knew they wanted this done. So they took the exact time, like to the minute of when the city like stamped approve on their paperwork. You don't have to go that far. I could just use noon of that day to call it even. But yeah, they did it. And then we went over like their business, and we went over like, what are your strengths? What are your areas of improvement? Like, how will people see you? Even down to like social media strategy. So yeah, everything technically has a birth chart. You can look at birth charts of countries. That's why people are saying that the US is going through its Pluto return. Like, everything has a birth chart. Like, you have a birth chart. If you have your own business, your business could have a birth chart. Your country has a birth chart. Like, everything has a birth chart.
Okay.
Which is very interesting.
And this is very appropriate for this time because we did an episode on the spring equinox, and we talked about this during kind of our New Year's episode as well. Like, the seasons kind of give revival or new birth to like your person. You could go through that every year, right? Of having like a rebirth or whatever. And then you're going through you're coming down from your Saturn return. But that's such a big cyclical thing that it's not a rebirth, but it almost is, right?
It's a maturation.
Yeah.
Spiritual frontal lobe connects.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's fully connected yet.
I know, right?
It's working on it.
It's working on it.
But I thought that was a super interesting concept, right? Because when you're like, everything can have a birth, I was like, that's true. Everything has a beginning. Everything has an origin point. So I thought it was super interesting. So I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about, that's kind of my last point, is what, if any, traditions do you think we're going to instill if we have a kid? What's your ideology? The only one that we're 100% doing that no matter what, you're going to be on board, is they're going to pick their starter Pokemon.
Oh,
I definitely want to put out the Bulbasaur, the Charmander, and the Squirtle, and have them crawl up to whatever it is, and then whatever they choose, we're going to go crazy on the on the decoration. And then another kind of thing, it's not really newborn, I guess it's just more with your kids. Something that I didn't have that now as an adult I enjoy. I always thought it would have been cool to have like your team, right? Like, we talked about it in our team. Yeah, I'll explain. We talked about it in our Unhinged episode when we talked about sports. I love sports now. I love Formula 1. I love basketball. I'm starting to enjoy football. But I never had that as a kid growing up, like, my family goes for, like, the Lakers, or my family goes for... But I am so excited if we do have a kid to, like, put them in their little Red Bull like gear or their little like Lakers uniform. Like, that is something that I would look forward to.
We'd be a Lakers house, not a Golden State Warriors house.
No, I'm a Lakers fan.
Oh, okay.
100%.
I am too, but you know.
It's in our Unhinged. We talked about it.
Yeah.
For the record, Lakers, Dolphins, Formula 1 is like Red Bull, and are those all the sports? Baseball, I don't really care too much about.
Dodgers.
Maybe the Dodgers, yeah. But anyways, those are my kind of two like traditions for like a newborn. What about you?
Definitely the foot string thing.
Yeah, we gotta do the foot string. We gotta make sure our kid doesn't have clown feet, which they probably will get from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that the red string wouldn't hurt me and them. I think that would be cool.
You'll also do a birth chart reading. I know you'll do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know you'll cleanse their space spiritually. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I think I will track like when they're more likely to be fussy. Because some astrologers do that. There's an astrologer that just had a child and they realize like when the moon is in certain places, the baby is going to be like more colicky, like up all night, like things like that. So I'll probably track transits for my child.
Awesome. All right. Well, we talked about birth charts, talked about newborns, and we'll kind of give back to the community. We're doing a giveaway. We haven't done one in a while, but I think I thought this was the perfect episode to do one. So you want to tell our audience about it? Yeah.
So we are going to do a giveaway for a 30-minute reading, astrology, natal chart. So we're going to make this post of this episode, and once it drops, comment your favorite part of this episode or your favorite superstition or tradition that you've heard of for babies. And if you win, claim your reading or book your reading by May 31st. And if you are an expectant parent and your child is going to be born after May 31st, then as long as you say like, I want to use this for my child and their due date is around this date, then I'll extend it.
We'll honor it.
We'll honor it. You just have to claim it and say like, yes, I want it and I plan to get it by May 31st.
Exactly. You must be following Genesis on Instagram also to be eligible, and we'll just choose from the comments. But basically, comment your favorite part of this episode. Make sure you claim it by the 31st, and you're eligible for a free birth chart reading.
Yeah, so 30-minute readings are usually $60. So free $60 value.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you spending the time with us, and see you at the next one.
Yes, please subscribe to our YouTube. We are now up to date and we'll be uploading there every Wednesday as well. So we've been uploading to Spotify and Apple Podcasts every Wednesday, and now we're going to include YouTube now that we are caught up. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Follow me or get in contact with me. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, at Jen Kahlo and JenKahlo.com. All right. Thank you, everyone. Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off. Bye.